Today I wanted to take you through marketing campaigns. Now this is a example setup of a marketing campaign. So let me take you through initially how this looks like. So we have a range of clients here. As you can see, I've just put in a couple of clients in there. There's not particularly a lot of information in there, which you can have a look at yourself. Probably the only field to be aware of is, open this up. In this pop-up, I've got a test campaigns on this client, and then I've also got a series of tags which are kind of like cloud tags about what area this client is into. So it might be IT, it might be financial services, and so forth. And this is just an example, so feel free to do this any way you like. So I'll just close that, and what we'll do is we will open up marketing campaigns, and then we'll click on create a new campaign. Okay, so at the moment, as you can see, it's saying that we're going to be doing all contacts at the moment, as you can see down here, but we might want to say, well, let's only do we said where the email is not empty, but we also might want to say, let's say where first name is Andrew, and if we refresh the table, you'll see that it's cut down. So this means you can do some quite interesting searches. So we might say, for example, let's get rid of that, and we say where all the child tags and the fields. Where am I looking here? Sorry, tag, that was right in front of me, is IT. So you see there that it will put in both of them. Now you see that there's our second entry. That entry also has the tag of IT. So again, you can actually have a very complex criteria, and you can set up each campaign for a certain subset of users, and you can make that criteria as interesting or that you need. So the way this works is that you can set up a variety of things around this campaign. So I might just sort of create a new thing here. We'll say go to the contact link. We'll say clients, and we'll say the first name. So what we're saying here is that we're going to say, because of the way that the links work on this particular details field, we know that we have we're basing it on, over here you'll see there's a bunch of participants in here, and participants have a link back to client as one of their fields, and we're saying, well, what we want to do is for the participants that we end up adding in, we want to grab the first name and we want to put it into an email, into the title. So in this case it would say hello Andrew or hello Bob. Welcome to our new product. And obviously you'll be able to put templates or copy and paste a variety of different forms that you may, or pages that you may have, so you can actually just do this on another editor and hit paste into this particular box if you want, and then you just add in the particular fields that you want. Thanks for looking. Oops. And we also might want to say this product, and so we want to go to the actual product. Right. This is the hyperlink to click on. So this is the product URL here. So this might say, come to our Technical Pro website. So we want you to have a look at that. And really what we're trying to do here is also, when they actually do click on that, we want to record that they've come, and that way we can actually get a kind of track back of users as they come on through. So what we want to do is obviously this is very basic, and you can add in images and make it a lot better than what I've just done here. So when we're ready, we can add to the users and hit save. Okay. So what that says is it's now saved all the details, and if we go into marketing campaigns again, oops, we forgot to put a campaign title on. So this is okay. I might just save that. So I've actually set this form up to not close when I hit save, so you can see that here. So now if I actually have a look at that and say I want to have a look at all the participants, you'll see that here's our product that we wanted to have a look at, and we can actually have a look at that product, and we can say what's happening here is that it's generated a unique URL for each person who wants to go on that product, and if they click on that particular product, what that will end up doing is then recording the time they went to the product, and I'll show you that in a minute. So I'll close that off for the time being, and you'll notice if I click on here, it again is a different URL that is generated, a short URL that's generated, and I'll take you through how that's created in a minute. So we'll close that off, close that down, and what we can do is we can, if we want to do a test, and if you remember earlier on I showed you that this particular row here is set up as a test user. So what we want to do is we want to run a test because we want to make sure that that's okay. So I can just click on that and I hit save, and we'll close that down for a moment, and I'll bring up the test page, test email in a second. One moment. So as you can see, this is the email that's come back. Now obviously this logo used a logo that I put into a header form, and I'm using that to display the logo, and you can actually put things like your hello username all in a header, so you can just talk about your particular products, and you can do footers, and I'll show you that in a minute. So obviously if I then click on this particular link, which I'm not sure if this is actually going to show you, it will record and redirect off to the particular URL that we were demonstrating before, which was Capewalker, and I'll show you what ends up happening with that. So if I bring this up now, and I'm just going to remove that. Okay, so we're back to here. Sorry, and we'll go back to the Capewalker. You'll see that the tests have now run. That was the original thing there. What we might actually then do is just open up participants, and you'll see here that it's recorded that this URL that I sent to, and then I went to the actual product link at this particular time. Now obviously you can set up all kinds of triggers and actions around this, but I tell you what we'll do now is we're going to get into how this is actually put together. So we're going to close that down, and we'll go into design mode. Now I've expanded out my tree here, and you'll see that the tree is actually made up of quite a few bits and pieces. So if we start off with marketing campaigns, and I'll just go to fields first, you can see that this is the normal series of fields. Probably the most interesting part that's a bit unusual is the filter field, which is a type of filter. That's how we did our search, and we say here things like clients, and we've put a default there where the email must not be empty. Okay, and that comes into play later on. Okay, so we're saying that this filter is about clients, and that they aren't to be empty. So I also want to direct your attention to details. Now you'll notice the details is a rich text form. However, we have set this up to auto-completes with the type participants, as we'll see in here, and that's how it knows when you choose which field you want to display to auto-generate when it's rendering. That's where it's going to get the details from. If we then step to the triggers, events and actions, you can see here that we've got a variety of different statuses and reactions to those. So as you remember, we were changing the statuses from add users. So what we do is we go for each found client based on the filter that we actually saved. We're going to make a record of the participants that ends up in here, and we're going to, as part of that record, is we're going to link that record back to our clients, and that we're also going to create this hyperlink to click on, which is using this here. This is the what we want to do when they actually click on the link, is we want to record when they went to that particular link, and then after we finish doing our handling of that, we want to then refer them off back to the product URL, which, if you remember correctly, was K-Pop-Co. So we then went out to test only, and we said, okay, well look, this is a test, so we put a temporary field there, and we're going to run the functions here. This is this function here. So for each of the participants underneath the campaign, we're saying, well, if it's a test, then only run this particular sending off the email if we know that it's a test user and that's been marked as true. And again, we're running the found participants thing based on the client's email. The subject going out is obviously from your email campaign, and we're going to create a form which is based on the output form of the found participant, which is up here, and the campaign headers. And you'll see here that we've got a campaign headers, and we could have that a bit simpler, but however we just put it there for the time being. But it does mean in there that you can put things like your hello username and stuff like that, so you don't actually have to type that into your actual main body. And then we've got our rich text form, which we grabbed from the details, which is that HTML WYSIWYG editor, and we're going to process that based on the found participants, right, which is here. Okay. We're going to so once it's actually run through each one of those for each loop for each user that it finds, we're then going to just mark that the tests have run, or that the campaign is running, or that we could even say that the campaign is started to run, and then you could actually then see what happens there. If we have a look at the campaign setups, it's quite a simple form. If we have a look at this, you'll just see that we've got a few different fields in here. Email subject, the filter that we talked about, the details, which is this WYSIWYG form, the product URL, so I could just scroll down here, product URL, and obviously the status as it changes. This form is obviously the list of clients. Now, interestingly enough, you can say that we've put in our tutorial here. We've got the filter results is based on clients, and we're going to use this field, the contact filter, which it's found up here, right, to then paginate and display all the results that you would normally find. So it actually doesn't add it to, this is not using the participants table, this is actually using the clients table based on this filter up here. That's why that has a refresh button up here when it's being displayed. Okay. If we have a look at the campaign header, you'll see here that's that logo, and again we could quite easily, if we wish, I'll just move that down, and we'll just say it's a type field of the participants. What's the wrong thing here? I might just, sorry, I'm going to add in a rich text, and we're just going to say hello, and again we're going to say participant, and then we're going to say that's the contact link. We know that that links to the clients, and then we got the first name, And you can actually put that in there as a title. So we just put that down there, and it will mean that we don't have to type that in every time that we wish. And so that's pretty much all there is to it. There's not a particularly lot more to it. Probably the most challenging part is probably just understanding this particular part of the triggers, events, and actions. And I'm hoping that explains how a very simple marketing campaign can be set up. And obviously you can add all kinds of statistics to the marketing campaign, so you could see how often people responded, how long it took them to respond from the initial send out of the email campaign, and you can get some really good stats on that. So, but that's probably something for another time, and I'm hoping this helps. Thank you.